everyone, and welcome back to our health seminar session here in the Gladstone Camp meeting. We're so happy that you're with us. Today, we have Dr. Vasquez with us. She is originally from Venezuela, and she completed her studies in Argentina, doing family medicine there. Then she moved on and continued with natural medicine here in Oregon. So she comes to us with both worlds. She also has her own private clinic in Hillsboro, Natural Hope, where she also supports her husband in the Hispanic Ministry's Pastor Juan Pacheco. If you were with us yesterday, I'm sure you enjoyed our seminar regarding obesity and stress. Today, she comes to us talking about the hormones. Now, please, if you're a man, do not log out. Stay with us. Please join us because it's important for both of us, women and men, to hear this message today. Please remember to join us and to ask questions in the chat in whatever platform you're joining. Enjoy.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for being here. Today, the presentation is called Hormone Revolution, the gift power within you. Today, we are going to delve deeper into women hormones. Yesterday, we started our health talk with one of the causes of disease, as it is stress, and how stress is related to obesity, knowing that obesity is a major risk factor for several chronic diseases. We also mentioned that stress is the same as talking about the hormonal or endocrine system. And today we are going to compare that system with our orchestra. Your hormonal system is like a symphony, which under optimal conditions, when every instrument is in tune and hitting the right notes, is playing the most beautiful music you have ever heard. But if just one instrument is out of tune, it can ruin the entire piece, making you cringe. And I know this because I am a musician, so I have felt this sensation. The other musicians may begin to change how they are playing in order to compensate for that one out of tune instrument, and the music quality begins to diminish further. In this same way, if one hormone is out of balance, it affects the whole system. And this is our beautiful orchestra, and we have our hormones going from one organ to the other to run the show of your body. We also mentioned the concept of how if one hormone gives the wrong message, all the others will be affected. And this is a very important concept. We also mentioned about how our hormones are controlled by the circadian rhythm, our internal biological 24-hour clock, affected by the light and the darkness. We all have this internal clock, women, men. This clock regulates our daily bodily processes, including digestion, body temperature, metabolism, sleep, detoxification and elimination, and production of certain hormones. This circadian clock kicks into action the day you are born and continues ticking day in and day out throughout your entire life. Cueing cortisol to a spike in the morning to rev you up, boosting alertness in late morning, and secreting melatonin around 9 p.m. to help you wind down for sleep. Our modern day lifestyle, however, is increasingly at odds with our inner clock. Becoming more aware of how critical it is to live in tune with our circadian clock is great. But women, we need to understand that we have a second clock that is equally important. Unfortunately, this clock hasn't received nearly the same amount of attention from the scientific community or the media. In fact, the second clock has been largely ignored, and we have been left in the dark about its inner workings and its profound impact on our health, moods, and performance. It is time that we change that. As a woman, we are blessed with a second clock, starting at puberty and continuing until we reach menopause at about age 50. It deeply impacts your experience of life for approximately 40 years. This is the infradian rhythm, and is tied to your monthly menstrual cycle, which includes 4 distinct phases: the follicular phase, the ovulatory phase, the luteal phase, and the menstrual phase. The same way your circadian clock plays a role in your daily bodily functions, your 28-day infradian clock influences your brain chemistry and physiology, providing you with unique gifts and strengths at different times of the month. Your 2 clocks are tightly linked. The 4 phases of your cycle influences your 24-hour circadian rhythm and vice versa. For example, did you know that hormonal fluctuations affect your body temperature, sleep patterns, and heart rate throughout your cycle? On the flip side, your 24-hour clock plays a role in how well your 28-day clock functions. Any disturbance in your 24-hour clock can disrupt your 28-day cycle, leading to problems such as irregular periods and longer menstrual cycles, and much more. Nowadays, we have an epidemic of endocrine diseases in the women population. So balanced hormones can infuse you with energy, spark your creativity, boost your moods, and turn your body into a glorious masterpiece. On an even deeper level, you will be protecting your biological systems in the long run to preserve fertility and possibly prevent major diseases later in life, such as Alzheimer's, heart disease, and cancer. So, how can we know that this cycle is running well? How do we know that my hormones are doing well? So, we have our 5th vital sign. As a woman, we have our 5th unique vital sign, your period. Your period is so important that the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists recommends that menstrual history be used as a vital sign when evaluating the health of women. This means that this is as important as the other 4 vital signs, like the pulse, and the heart rate, the body temperature, the respiration rate, and the blood pressure. So let's take a look to what is normal, what is a healthy period, what we should look when we see our period. So the duration of the cycle, it should arrive every 25 to 35 days. An average is 28 to 30 days. No more nor less. The duration of the bleeding should be between 3 days to 7 days. And 80% of the bleeding should occur in the first 2 days. the amount of bleeding. We lose from 25 to 80 milliliters of blood. To put this in perspective, 80 milliliters of blood is the equivalent of 20 tampons per cycle. It is not normal to have a heavy bleeding. The color. The color should be bright cranberry color throughout the whole bleeding, and it should be pain-free. Menstrual pain has been normalized and should not be that way. It is one thing to feel discomfort and other thing to feel pain. We shouldn't have clots. We shouldn't have heavy bleedings. I know that this has been normalized, but that doesn't mean that they are normal signs. And the last one is no, we shouldn't have premenstrual syndrome. Premenstrual syndrome, we have a list of potential signs and symptoms for premenstrual syndromes that can go to 150 different physical and behavioral symptoms. That's a lot, but most women only experience a few of these problems. So we have this list of emotional and behavioral symptoms like agitation, anxiety, confusion, crying spells, depressed mood, poor concentration, trouble falling asleep, poor memory, mood swings, and irritability or anger, social withdrawal, change in libido. And also we have the physical signs and symptoms like joint or muscle pain, back pain, abdominal bloating, breast tenderness, cravings, constipation or diarrhea, weight gain related to fluid retention, headaches, and acne flare-ups. We are told these premenstrual symptoms are normal, but they are not. This is a myth. Is very harmful because it forces us to suffer unnecessarily. When you are conditioned to believe that pain and problems are part of the life, are part of the course, you are prevented from looking for solutions. The PMS myth does further damage, and it is used against women to diminish our feelings, opinions, and judgments. People put us in the box of being hormonal, as if men don't have hormones too, as a way to devalue women. Science shows us that PMS symptoms arise only when there is an imbalance of estrogens and progesterone during the luteal phase, just 2 weeks before the menstrual bleeding. This imbalance can be triggered by diet choices such as coffee, sugar, dairy, dieting, juice fast, and low-fat diets. Did you remember the list that we talked about yesterday during the stress presentation? So all that apply to today's presentation. According to the National Institutes of Health Biocycle Study, the longer PMS goes unchecked and untreated, the greater the risk for cancer, heart disease, diabetes, osteoporosis, and dementia postmenopausally. So when we look for help today, we can feel better today, and we can also prevent in the future. One reason we don't think we need to seriously consider the care of our second clock is because we have been led to believe that it affects only our reproductive and menstrual experience, and that hormones are only important for fertility. So if I want to get pregnant, I think about my hormones. But if I am not planning to get pregnant, it doesn't matter how my hormones are. But I invite you to end that misconception now. So you will see that the second clock affects every system in our body. It affects our brain, it affects our immune system, it affects our metabolism, our gut health, our stress, how we deal with stress, and it affects our skin. But if you compare women with men, not only do all of our biological systems operate differently from male system, but they aren't static. Our system fluctuates in direct response to the rise and fall of our hormones each month. So let's see those changes through the menstrual cycle. Similar to the lunar moon cycle and the 4 seasons, your menstrual cycle has 4 unique phases. We have the menstrual phase, that is when you start to bleed until you finish the bleeding. Then we have the follicular phase that starts after the bleeding and then until the day 14. Then we have the ovulatory phase from day 14 to day 17, and we have the luteal phase from day 18 to around 28 to 30. So just like winter, spring, summer, and autumn, your body transitions through 4 phases about every 28 to 30 days on average. Each phase invites a unique set of hormonal, physical, emotional, and psychological gifts. Every phase has its unique nutrition demands. When we understand these changes and we eat, work, love, and play accordingly to our natural flow, we get better at working with our feminine power rather than against it. It's important to embrace and honor the changes throughout your cycle. But I find that most of us don't even know the 4 distinct phases. Most of us are familiar only with the menstrual bleeding and the ovulatory phases, but know the other 2. I was the same way. So men are more capable of performing the same daily routines due to their 24-hour hormonal cycles. But because we fluctuate throughout every 28 days, doing the same things every day is not biologically sensible or realistic. That's what the Hormone Revolution is all about. Being a woman is inherently and beautifully dynamic. If you wake up feeling differently every single day of your cycle, it is actually totally justified. How does that work, you ask? Your hormone levels change and shift, dancing with each other every single day through your cycle, so you are never in the same hormonal state twice in a month. Think about that for a second. Now pat yourself on the back. Women define flexibility, change, and going with the flow. So you can see in the graphic how in each phases your hormones fluctuates. So how does hormones affect my brain? Do you ever feel like you are not the same person day to day, that at certain times during your month you feel energetic and efficient, whereas at other times you feel more inwardly focused? You are not imagining this. As estrogens in the first half of the cycle and progesterone in the second half of the cycle, levels rise and fall throughout your cycle, your brain changes in response. The female brain can change up to 25% during the monthly cycle, mainly thanks to fluctuating estrogen levels. The high estrogen levels during the follicular phase and the ovulatory phase lead to a boost in synaptic connections within the hippocampus, which can increase mental sharpness, creativity, and communication skills. An uptick in estrogen enhances the release of serotonin, which is known as the happiness neurotransmitter. This means you are likely to feel more social, verbal, and outgoing in the first half of your cycle as estrogen is increasing. So during the second half of the phase, when we see the luteal phase and the menstrual phase, the combination of low estrogens and the increase in progesterone makes you more introspective, calmer, but also with your emotions on the surface. Progesterone is the anti-anxiety hormone. If that is not what you are experiencing, then you can be sure that you do not have a good progesterone levels at this stage. At the end of the luteal phase, because the levels of the hormones are decreasing, we become more introverted. Perhaps we prefer to be a little more close to finish our projects. Estrogens works as a social lubricant. It makes you overlook and ignore situations. But as the estrogens goes down, you begin to notice these situations. If you have balanced hormones, you can express your discomfort with love and tolerance. But if this is not the case, this is the time when people give us the term of being hormonal, because or we cry saying things or we get irritable with what makes us uncomfortable. So then you can see that in the menstrual phase, all the hormones are in the lowest range. And that starts with the first day of bleeding until the last day. This creates the greatest communication between your two brain hemispheres, the left analytical side and the right feeling side. This means you are best able to synthesize how you feel about situations with the facts and determine the best course of action. So in the menstrual cycle that our hormones are the lowest, our brain communicates better. This is our time of deepest intuition. This is the time to tap into our heightened intuitive abilities and listen to any nudges, wisdom, or guidance that might be coming through. So the key in our hormones is the perfect balance, the perfect dance, the perfect fluctuations, which was how God created us as women. Sometimes we think that since estrogens is so good, is the hormone of happiness, so we need a lot of hormones, a lot of estrogens throughout the whole cycle. But no, it doesn't work like that. We need the dance, we need the fluctuations in perfect balance. If you have estrogens throughout the whole cycle, you will be cranky, you will be irritable, you will be anxious, and all the symptoms of premenstrual syndrome that we talked about earlier. So we need to support our hormones in each phases. And how can we do that? Through our lifestyle. We do that through food, we do that through exercise, we do that through stress management. On one hand, when our body needs estrogens, like in the first half of the cycle, mostly the follicular phase and ovulatory phase, we must give the body the raw material so it can produce estrogens in the right quantities through food. And on the other hand, when estrogens no longer needs to be elevated in this, like in the second half of the cycle, the luteal phase, and in the menstrual phase, we need to support our liver and intestines so they can detoxify estrogen. And this doesn't accumulate in our body, therefore creating hormonal imbalance. So we can say that one phase prepare the next phase. But if we don't eat in accordance to our hormones, supporting our hormones, that is not going to happen. So in regard of metabolism, as estrogen increases in our body, our metabolism is slow slightly. But this makes us feel less hungry. And if we listen well to our body, we will realize that we crave lighter foods. We crave more vegetables, crunchy vegetables, raw food. And those foods are just the food that we need to create estrogens and are the food that we need to detoxify the estrogens through the liver and through the intestine. So we need to support the production of estrogen with phytoestrogens like soy, flaxseed, alfalfa, oatmeal, and other grains. Then during the luteal phase, our metabolism begins to accelerate, which means we have more appetite. We burn 89 to 279 more calories a day in this phase. And this is very good news for us. But on the other hand, our sugar levels are more unstable. So if we don't eat in accordance with our hormones, then we are more prone to binges or strong cravings. So how we avoid that? In order to avoid all of these, we need to support the production of progesterone. That is the hormone that is supposed to be elevated in this phase. We do this with foods rich in B complex that we find in millet, cereals, brown rice, oats, and if we mix them, it's going to be even better for the B complex. Then we need proteins so we can make hormones. The proteins, we find it in legumes like chickpeas and navy beans. And to be able to produce progesterone, we also need the zinc that we will find in the sesame seed and the vitamin E that we will find in the sunflower seeds and also spirulina. If we don't eat in sync with our biochemistry, we may drop pounds in the first half of your cycle, and then we see the scale tick upward in the second half of the cycle. Turning to diets based solely on the 24-hour circadian clock to lose weight isn't the solution, because they don't take our cyclical nature or second clock into consideration. This is what happens to us every time we try a new trending diet that are made for men or menopause women that don't have the second clock. So you can achieve lasting weight loss by working with your biology through eating and exercises. exercising in ways appropriate for each phase of your cycle. Then, in regard of the immune system, during the first half of your cycle, as estrogen levels rise, your immune system is on a high alert and ready to attack, giving you a great ability to fight off infections and fend off illnesses. And then during the second half of your cycle, when hormone concentrations decreases, your immune system downshifts and is less likely to count an inflammatory response. These changes are intended to promote pregnancy so we don't attack the new baby coming. If your hormones are balanced, this shift in immunity should be imperceptible. But if you are imbalanced, you are more likely to feel run down and get that back that is going around the office during this phase. When we are out of sync with our second clock, our supercharged immune system can go into overdrive. With so many women who are suffering from autoimmune diseases, including Hashimoto thyroiditis, lupus, multiple sclerosis, and rheumatoid arthritis, it is important to consider the impact of ignoring this second clock. Scientists have discovered estrogen's role as an immunomodulator, affecting some systemic diseases, such as autoimmune and inflammatory conditions. Working with your cycle prevents estrogen's dominance to protect you from developing autoimmune diseases and to minimize symptoms. I've met so many women who were suffering from chronic conditions and saw a dramatic symptom reduction when they balance their hormones. A stress response. Women or men react very different to stress. In time of stress, the female brain may also release the feel-good neurochemical oxytocin, which is known as the bonding hormone. So we reach to social media, to friends, to our mothers, to family, to gather. When we are under stress, under problems, we look for social connection. And during the week before your period, do you feel that you are more stressed? You are not alone. And no, it's not all in your head. Science backups what you have known all along. Your biology is programmed to heighten your stress response in the second half of your cycle compared with the first half. Studies have shown that female releases a greater amount of the stress hormone cortisol. Do you remember this hormone? Yesterday we talked about the whole presentation about this hormone. So women, we secrete more the stress hormone called cortisol during the second half of the cycle compared with the first half. So it is likely this heightened response in nature's way of helping you protect a fertilized egg in the event you are pregnant. That's why we can live every day the same way, because we are more prone to stress in the second half of the month. This is the month that we have to learn to say no. We have to learn to go into finishing our projects and to do more stress management that we just learned yesterday. So yesterday we talked about this called pregnenolone still. And then normal and calm circumstances in your adrenal glands Do you remember that we talked about this yesterday? That all the hormones are made from cholesterol, and then the pregnenolone is converted into progesterone, okay? And all the other hormones. But when you are chronically stressed, you make more cortisol, and it gets stolen from pregnenolone. And what happened? The other hormones levels may fall. So this is what happens if we don't manage stress. We get a hormone imbalance and you can see all the consequences as we talk today of that imbalance. So all that we talked about yesterday applies today to today's presentations. We talk about all those stress sources. We talk about the hormonal disruptors that we find in the plastic byproducts and heavy metals, in pesticide, herbicides, and all of that. We also talk about the light pollution, that we need to go to sleep early during the night. And we also talk about all of these recommendations so we can work with the biological circadian rhythm with our hormones in the 24 hours. And that applies, remember that will affect also our infradian rhythm, our 28 cycle. So when you see all the scientific evidence of all these fundamental biological differences between women and men and how they affect you in so many ways, it can feel very validating. You may feel a little tinge of concern. However, because we certainly have been fighting for decades to prove we are equal as human beings. Of course, we are equal, and we deserve to be treated equally at the workplace, in the political realm, and in society at large. Nothing about our distinctive female biology prevents us from standing on an equal footing with men or having access to the same opportunities. But from a health standpoint, now we deserve even more. Medicine is already moving toward a bio-individual treatment approach. The concept of one size fits all treatment is becoming a thing of the past. What needs to happen next is the healthcare arena finally adding our female biologists and fluctuating hormonal cycle into the equation when it comes to our healthcare and wellness. So in conclusion, God has given you already a powerful gift within you to thrive in this life as a woman, and it's called hormones. Hormones are not a punishment from God for being a woman. Do not let society make you believe that your hormones are a hindrance to thrive. They are the gift so you can thrive. And remember, anything that interrupts those hormonal fluctuations, the beautiful dance, either in the form of oral contraceptive pills or any form of synthetic hormones, are going to steal from you that powerful gift. So know your options. Knowing your body and working with your hormones can help you make plans around it and take advantage of all the gifts that each one has for you. You can schedule your planned diet, your exercise, work, social activity as a mother, as a wife, and much more. It's my prayer today that you can take advantage to this gift. God bless you.
Dr. Vasquez, thank you for being here with us live, talking about such a revolutionary topic, hormones. To be honest, in my young age, I have not heard much, if not at all, about this topic. So thank you so much for enlightening us. I would like to invite our audience to please do not be shy. Share your questions in the chat. We will try to answer all of them today with you, Dr. Vasquez. I would just like to start with clarifying or re-emphasizing. So if a female who is during the age of menstruating does not have their period, their menstruation cycle, that's not okay? Is that normal? I have a lot of friends who, I don't have my period, and that just like that, like if it was something else and they mention it so lightly, is that okay?
It's not okay. As we saw in the presentation, the menstrual cycle is the 5th vital sign for women. So it's just as important as the blood pressure, heart rate, respiration, all of that. So we need the menstrual cycle in the period that God intended us to have, the balance of hormones. If we don't take care of that, we are not gonna be fine now, okay? Because this has some repercussions in your well-being as a woman, how you feel, how you thrive through life, your mood, your metabolism, your immunity, all of that. So you're gonna feel bad. You're gonna be a woman with health, but you won't know why. That is the thing that is really tricky, because you go to the doctor and maybe, oh no, you are doing good. The blood tests are good. Everything is fine. So go home. Maybe I will give you an antidepressant so you don't come back again. But it's not like that. We need to take care of our body every day. Every day we can choose to have a good balanced hormones. That's why every menstruation is the result of 3 months before. Okay, so if you are making a record of what happened in your menstruation, that means that 3 months before it was not okay. Your diet, your lifestyle, everything.
So it's not yesterday. It's not.
No.
Okay.
It's 3 months before. So that's why we need to take care of our hormones every day. So every menstruation is going to be better and better and better. So the important is not only from now, but also in the future, because those imbalances will create some repercussions as a cancer, osteoporosis, heart disease, Alzheimer's disease, and we don't want that in the future.
Not at all. Absolutely.
When we don't have more these hormones or menstrual cycle. So that's why when I have a patient that is already on menopause or after the menopause, I always interrogate about the menstrual cycle when they were young. And they are like, but why are you asking me this?
Why does that matter?
Yeah, why does it matter now? Because now I understand. When they tell me, oh yeah, I have PMS, I have cramps all the time, I have clots, I have all of that. So that means, oh, she had that hormone imbalance, and now these are the consequences. So it's very, very important that you look for help. Maybe sometimes we are like, I don't have the menstruation this month, and we are happy. No, there is ignorance. We need our menstruation. So while you have it, take advantage of that. All of benefits that has your hormones.
Very important. So let's go to the other side. I would assume that it's majority of the women who do have their menstrual cycle. Like you mentioned, society making us believe that it's normal to have cramps. It's normal to have that fatigue or the back pain or any other PMS symptom. And So what is the best way if we're in the journey of balancing our hormones? What is the best way to treat these symptoms? Because like society teaches us, it's fine, just toughen up, just go to work, it's fine, or here's some Advil, or here's some painkillers. So what is the best way to, go towards the journey of balancing my hormones, but then also treating the symptoms that I still have?
Yeah, of course. Always look for a professional help, because it will guide you to what to do to find the source of imbalance. It is very important to find the source of imbalance in your case. Not everybody is the same. So we need to find the source, and then with most of the time with the PMS lifestyle is good, is enough sometimes. But we need to eat and move and think according to the hormones, just as we talk about.
Yeah.
We have a roadmap that teach us how to live with our hormones and take advantage of those gifts that they have. So that is the first thing. But then there are so many levels of hormone imbalance. For example, fibroma, PCOS, okay, they are more severe. So sometimes it's not enough to do this that I explained, the diet and exercise. We need to dig a little bit more and do a treatment. Okay. Yeah.
So let's say that I have my normal doctor, and I'm just hearing about this for the first time, and every month I have my PMS or I have abnormal periods, but I don't know what level of hormonal imbalance I have. How can I go to my doctor? Is there a specific lab work that I can get done to learn more about my own hormonal imbalance?
Yeah, the thing is that most conventional doctors don't take this.
Okay.
Okay. If you wanna get help with somebody that knows this, you should go to a functional doctor. He will know, or she will know what to do, because we work on symptoms. When a lab is abnormal, there are, for so long you have been bad.
Yeah.
It's not when the lab is, for example, diabetes. When you are diagnosed with diabetes, you think, okay, it's like I am starting my disease. No, you started a long time ago, your disease. When they diagnose you, it's already damaged a lot of organs, okay? So that's why it's really important to go to a functional doctor that will understand that you don't need to be diagnosed. We can do a lot of things before that, so we can prevent that, and also that you can feel well right now. Mm-hmm.
Talking about prevention, I would like to imagine, I don't have a daughter, but one day, if parents are listening to this and they have young daughters who are already teenagers and entered their menstruation, how could parents help prevent this from a young age in teenagers?
Yeah, that is a dream of mine, to educate my patients, to educate women, so when they can pass that knowledge to their daughters. So when they got her first menstruation, they can say, daughter, now that you are a woman, this is the tools that you need to learn. So that's why I created an app that is called Hormone Revolution.
Okay.
And you can find the app, the link in the Instagram, that is called also Hormone Revolution, but with a
underscore?
With the underscore. Hormone _ Revolution in Instagram. And you can find the link. For now, it's in Spanish, but it will be in the next month in English, in August 1st. It's my dream. That is a tool that I made for my patients and also for women that are hearing this good news. For me, this is a good news. We have a roadmap to live as a woman and to thrive. So in that app, you can find the diet for every phase. Okay. We talk about today 4 phases.
Right.
And each phase has its own nutrients requirements. So you will find a diet plan, recipes, so you can apply that in real life, okay. Make those recipes. But the important thing, you can find the guides. Once a month, I do a live, so I can answer questions, and you can find the exercise also tailored for each phase. So then you can find a lot of things, and the good thing is that there is a community where we gather together to share our experiences, and also when we are not doing good or doing well, mm-hmm. or questions. But my dream is that with these tools, mothers can help herself,
first,
and then can pass through the next generation, through their daughters, so they can learn since young to take care of their body and not be ashamed to be a woman, because mm-hmm. we menstruate and we are irritable and then happy and then irritable, those mood swings and making everybody crazy, and you know that everybody make us believe. So I want them to, since young age, so it's so popular this that they know, okay, I need to do this. I need to learn to take care of my body. And this is a process. It's no
once and you have it figured out.
It's a process. You are learning, and the thing is that you have to learn to hear, to listen to your body. Okay. Your body, it was created from God.
Right.
So your body is gonna talk to you. It's gonna tell you what to do. And the thing is that every day we're in a rush. We're doing the things,
daily life,
and we don't listen to our body. So with these tools, you can listen to your body and say, okay, why am I feeling today like this? Okay, I am happy today. Why? Oh, because I have the estrogens high. That's why. But then in the luteal phase, why I am so irritable? Why? What happened? Why I don't want that motivation. And then you can figure it out. Okay, that makes sense. It's because my estrogens is elevated, and it's not the time to be elevated in that phase. It's the time for the progesterone to be elevated, so I can feel relaxed. And it's the contrary. It's the opposite as how we feel. So you can listen to your body, and you can learn from your body what is happening. And I think knowledge is powerful.
It is. I think this is the first time that we hear that as females, we can't follow what the fitness industry tells us or what society tells you to just eat, the same way as a man, or exercise the same way as a man. If someone wants to lose weight, just, kill yourself at the gym and do more cardio. While if I'm understanding correctly, I may be damaging and harming my own body.
Yep, that's the thing. And since I was a little kid, I remember hearing my mother, I don't lose any weight. And they used to do the same diet with my father, and my father lost
right away.
So many.
Yes.
And my mother didn't. So, and you always hear that. How frustrated it is for a woman to lose weight with the same diet with a man. And you see, our body tell us that we are different, but we don't think about that. So now, what I love is that science now is backing up all the things, so we can understand our body and ownership our body, right?
Well, I love it. Now, let's say that maybe in our audience, we don't have only females. Maybe we have some men, and they may be wondering, this is great. I will send the link to my daughter or my mom or my sister, my wife. How can men best support us, females, in this journey of or balancing our hormones?
Oh, it is so fascinating because I have experienced this with my husband. Okay? The knowledge that I am learning, I am passing that to him.
Okay.
So he can understand me.
Wow, that's so beautiful.
Oh, it's so beautiful because when I am in the follicular phase, he already knows. And he said, you are in your follicular phase. And he makes so many jokes because he knows that I will be in the mood or so many things. So we can date or we can go out and we can do things together. But then when I am in my luteal phase, he knows what to expect. So he respects that. Okay? Even though I am not going crazy, but I feel different and he
will respect that.
Yeah.
And it's, wow, I like this because I'm not a man and I cannot imagine how they feel, but this knowledge helps them be a little bit more predictable.
Yes.
With women.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because men always complain, I don't know, you are unpredictable. No, we are predictable. The thing is that I don't know myself. I don't know me myself.
We have to start with ourselves.
Yeah, we have to start with ourselves. And then we can educate to our husband what is happening inside me, why I am different in this stage. For example, the menstrual phase is so intuitive. It is so fascinating. For me as a Christian, is when I find more the voice of God.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this is not only physical or in a marriage relationship. This is even spiritual.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
I find myself that is the phase that okay, I reaffirm my calling again, and I reaffirm, okay, God, what you want me to do this next month, because as I explained the presentation, all the hormones are in the lowest range and our brains connect better, and that make us feel be more intuitive, more we realize of things that we don't realize when we are in other phases. So it's so fascinating because you feel more things that God may be telling you in other phases. You are another. But yeah, so spiritually for me has been a beautiful journey too. But with the husband, please support your wife in this journey. But we need to start the journey. It's a journey that you have to learn to take care of yourself. It needs to time,
Yeah,
to
it takes
read.
time. So a quick question, Dr. Vasquez. You mentioned this is a journey and this is a process. Let's say that I would love to join the app and start this journey. How long, our audience is asking, how long does this process of balancing our hormones usually take?
As I said before, it depends of the levels of imbalance, right? If you have fibroids, if you have PCOS, it will take more time, of course. But if not like that, the thing is to find the cause. Tomorrow is very important because every presentation...
we're building up.
Yeah, we're building up. So tomorrow, you will find the most common causes of all this imbalance, and is the gut, the intestinal tract. So most of us suffer of hidden infections. You can see yesterday I mentioned it, but I said in 2 days we're gonna talk about that. So all these stress resources that we talked about yesterday build up every day and make us have hormone imbalance. But also tomorrow's presentation about the gut is very important. So if we have those hidden infections and also have levels, maybe mild, moderate, or severe, that it would take several months or maybe a year or more. So it depends. That's why we need a professional to look for the cause, to diagnose, and the professional will help you with the step that you need.
Now I'm wondering, maybe we have someone in the audience asking, a female who is now in menopause stage.
Mm-hmm.
Are hot flashes normal for them? How can we apply this message to these group of women?
Yeah, it's very different. Then when it comes menopause, post-menopause, we are the same as men. We are not having the dancing and the fluctuations. We are gonna live again with the 24 hours clock. That is the circadian rhythm that we talked about yesterday. Mm-hmm. Okay, so yesterday we talked about the 24-hour clock. Today we are talking about the 28 days clock. Okay, and then for women in menopause, after menopause, hot flashes shouldn't be that bad. When you have a hormone imbalance in your young age, it's like how can I say, like a hurricane, that the hurricane comes very aggressive and goes very aggressive, right? So hormones are like that.
Okay.
They are very aggressive when you are young, in a young age, and they go very aggressive also. That's why it comes hot flashes, depression. It's like they went like this. Like instead, other women, the normal thing would be that you are in balance, like the waves, and then it goes very.
Okay. So I can say from a young age, I could start taking care of my hormones.
Yes.
For a healthy, not only pregnancy, not only childbirth, but future, as a mother, and then in menopause stage, this will also benefit the ripple effects.
Yeah, there are women that they don't feel hot flashes because they didn't have that imbalance in the young age. Maybe a mild imbalance. But if you have a severe imbalance, moderate severe, that is when you are gonna feel the menopause is terrible, terrible, terrible. So as long as we have our menstrual cycle, I am in my 40. So I am like, oh, thanks God that I knew this before.
Wow.
So yes. I am, okay, help me. I am on time because I don't want to be like that in menopause. So I have time, right? And all the audience that is listening to me, if you have time, take advantage. So in that transition, that is a transition. It should be like a mild transition, not like that, not that craziness that
all over the place.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have one more question. For someone who is trying to avoid getting pregnant and it's married, what happens when they take oral contraceptives, or any hormonal contraceptive?
Yeah, as you see, anything that interrupt that fluctuation is gonna be bad for our health, because.
So I understand then contraceptives will affect your hormones.
Of course, because contraceptives are synthetic hormones, okay, and synthetic hormones are toxins to our body, and they in order so you don't be pregnant, they eliminate ovulation. And what makes us feel healthy is the ovulation, because it's when you secrete progesterone, okay, in your second cycle. So when you take these pills, you shut down ovulation and you shut down the fluctuations of your hormones. You won't secrete your hormones. Pills or contraceptive pills interrupt the communication of your brain to your ovaries. They don't talk anymore. Okay, it's like they cut it. So it's like, okay, your brain is not gonna send message, but remember that hormones are related. All the hormones, they run the show of our body. So if you cut that communication, is so dangerous. That's why the contraceptive pills, they have so many risks, autoimmunity disease, Crohn's disease that are autoimmune in our gut, lupus, depression. Why? Because these synthetic pills, estrogen, for example, increase the copper levels in our brain. And we are going to talk about that in the fourth day. When you increase copper levels in your brain, you are going to feel depressed because you are going to secrete neurotransmitters that are going to make you feel depressed or irritable. So most women that take oral contraceptive pills, they eventually will going to take an antidepressant.
Oh, wow.
Okay? And then all the risks that we talk about early in then when you are in a menopause or post-menopause age, those risks are going to be higher, okay? Because of the synthetic hormones. And they are related to cancer, they are related to autoimmune disease, they are related to mental disease. So the risks are very, very high. Even a stroke, right? Clocks, and all of that. And now it makes sense. We are looking how hormones control all your main body functions. And now when they shut down all the hormones so you don't get pregnant, now you understand why. Absolutely. Why those consequences, because you won't have any more of those fluctuations.
Is it possible for oral contraceptives to continue affecting your hormonal balance even after you stop taking them?
Oh, yes. That is a good question, because I see that all the time. The symptoms, the main symptoms why you took the oral contraceptive are going to come back but worse, okay? And then there is a post-syndrome control oral contraceptive pill. Is a post-syndrome that is between 6 months later, 3 to 6 months later, when you stop the contraceptive pills, and has so many symptoms, and one of them is that you won't have a menstrual cycle. So you need help. When you stop taking the oral contraceptive pill, you need help to detoxify those synthetic hormones, because they are cancerogenous. So you need help now to take all that toxins out of your body, and then reconstruct all your organs, because it affects your thyroid, it affects your everything, your immunity, it affects everything. So now you need to find a functional doctor so we can make your body detoxify, and so every organ works again.
Wow, this is so much information that I'm pretty sure I'm so grateful that I got to hear from my, starting my young adult life.
Yes.
And hopefully you who are listening are also taking notes and asking us questions. Thank you for all of your questions. Could you please share with us one more time? I would just imagine if I'm in the audience, I would love to have all the resources available and possible. Maybe I don't have a functional doctor, or I don't know where to go. You're here with us. And so could you please repeat the resources that you have available for us?
Yeah, you can find me in Instagram, Hormone Revolution _ And Hormone_Revolution. It's in the app of the committee. There is a link. And then in that, in Instagram, there is a link to download the app.
Okay.
So you can find the app. That is an app, coaching app for women.
Okay.
How to live day by day.
And within the Instagram app, do you also share information, or is it also only in Spanish, your Instagram app profile?
The Instagram or the...
In Instagram. So let's say, because you mentioned that the Hormone Revolution app right now, it's only available in Spanish.
It's only available in Spanish.
Coming in English soon.
Coming in English on August 1st. And the app is bilingual. The app and the Instagram, I am trying to do it bilingual.
Okay.
It's difficult sometimes, but I'm trying.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So hopefully if you are on social media, Hormone Revolution on Instagram, and just to start educating ourselves.
Oh yeah, we need
little by
so much. Yeah, and it's so fascinating because every day there is more information. So we need to pay attention of that, and it's all about our body, how God intended us to live. So it's so fascinating.
Maybe we're wondering what causes our hormone imbalance, but you mentioned that tomorrow we're going to be talking about this a little bit.
Yeah, deeper. Yesterday, all that we talked about yesterday, all those toxins make us have imbalance.
Okay.
And remember that the cortisol,
correct,
is still the other hormones. So you have the cholesterol, then the pregnenolone. If you are under stress, you are going to produce only cortisol and not the rest of the hormones. All the hormones that we talk about today, you are not going to produce it because your body is in a stress mode. Your body only wants to secrete cortisol so you can survive. It's making you a favor, okay? But then if we try to eliminate all those stressors in our life, remember that yesterday we talked about that stress is a broad word. It's not, since now it's not a word just to mental stress. Mental stress, of course, has a huge part, is one of those sources of stress, but also all the contaminants that we are living. That's why this is a pandemic, the imbalance of hormones. And we mentioned yesterday how men also suffer.
Correct.
I also treat men with hormone imbalances, and we can see that in the look outside, right? I mentioned yesterday the breast some men has is so common nowadays, but it's no good. It means that has more estrogen that it needs to be in their body.
So this is a topic that both female and male need to pay close attention to.
Yeah.
I appreciate, Dr. Vasquez, how you're preparing us. I'm very curious as tomorrow's message. We talked about obesity and stress yesterday, hormone imbalance today. And if you are joining us from wherever and whichever platform you're with us, I hope that you stick around and you come back tomorrow, because I'm sure tomorrow's message is going to be just as good as today's. So thank you, Dr. Vasquez, for answering all of our questions. And thank you for joining us and helping us ask these crucial questions. And again, we hope you join us tomorrow at the same time.